Hello folks and welcome. It's been a while since I've done any videos regarding Manjaro, Xfce, and Manjaro is an Arch-based distribution. A lot of beginners actually shy away from that. I wouldn't know. As a beginner, I think you need to give that a test run. You will find that it does have a package manager, so it's point and click. You certainly have benefits of running terminal, but these are point and click, including updates. Okay, but this video is a little bit higher on the scope as far as usage, because what I'm going to talk about, if you have a similar environment like this, where you have several computers, I don't care if they're Linux or Microsoft or both, and you want to run some file sharing using Samba and Secure Shell, SSH. I do. I even have iPhones that actually back up to this machine. So my home router runs Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, otherwise known as DHCP, to give addresses to most of these machines, except for this one. This one here has a static IP address. I actually have another one also. And this is not all the devices that I have on my local network. I have 50. I have roughly 8 computers. And one of these, I call them a master backup computer. It doesn't actually run wireless. It runs Ethernet, and it's gigabit. But more importantly, I also use this machine, which is a handheld computer, very small, that runs on Xfce desktop. And the video today is about Xfce. 4.20. Kernel version is this. This is Manjaro. So what I'm going to be talking about today is the utilization of Samba and SSH. Now, actually setting them up, I have different videos for that part of it. And I also make mention of what kind of SFTP app I use on these iPhones, because I actually use this. My wife and myself back our own photos up to this server. Now, anytime I install anything that has the word server in it, I install firewalls. This one is UFW, and I have a complete video on this firewall. I will actually show you some tips if you don't know too much about my channel, how to do searches. Now, I put antennas on these computers, but generally I have them set up as Ethernet. Okay, I used to have this one wirelessly, but now it is also connected via Ethernet, which makes it lightning fast because it's running gigabit. So I have a fiber optic into my house, gets converted to Cat6, in other words, Ethernet. And then it runs over to my router, and then it gets distributed out by Ethernet, 1 gigabit, to whatever machine that is accepting those. And also the wireless runs pretty high speed. So this is not the only router I have, but I just made a simple map today. So if you are running Samba services or SSH or both, I'll talk a little bit about your file manager, Thunar. All right, so as I pointed out, Manjaro is plenty good even for new users. All right, I talk about all kinds of things on my YouTube site. So let me click over to my own site. I have well over 500 videos, 530 currently, and you can use the advanced search feature in here. It searches for keywords. If you're a new subscriber, please read my mission statement, the welcome, and my posts. There's some information that I think is important for all new subscribers to understand. But if you are looking for Manjaro videos, if you have never done this, if you want to narrow it down to the desktop, then I can do it this way. All right, so that's about a year ago. General tips. You want to spice up your desktop, in other words, fancy icons? You may want to look at that one, also a year ago. Those kind of things haven't changed. I have all kinds of videos on my YouTube site, including making instantaneous power off buttons. That one there, when I double click, will power down my system without even asking a question. Sometimes it's one of those things where you're in a hurry. let's talk about your file manager. So I colored my backup folder. Not a big deal. We can all color folders. But how do you get to these SharePoints? How do you put them there as shortcuts? And what is this one? This one is SFTP versus these are Samba shares. SFTP is a little bit more powerful than these are. So on my machine called MX99, this is the root system and the user that I have these saved as. This is my iPhone. I have roughly that many files in there, and this one is my wife's. She takes pictures of everything. Almost 19 gigabytes worth, 6,319 photos and videos. Mine is slightly lower. So I have a little bit conservative way of taking pictures, as one would say. Both of these phones are being backed up to this machine using SFTP. This is an EndeavorOS backup. This is another laptop backup, and these are the two Samba shares that you see right here. So this machine is doing a lot of busy stuff. So let's go and figure out how we do this on Thunar. A lot of people will just think, I'm just going to click browse. Well, let me show you what happens when you do that. I'm going to remove everything. Okay? Nothing happens. All right, first of all, if you want to make these icons bigger, it's Edit, Preferences, and change that side pane, Shortcuts. You can make them even jumbo. I can even go super jumbo, but you can see that that would be ridiculous. I also turn on this feature, which is Remember View Settings for each folder, which allows me to do this. I can make all of these very big, and I'll use pictures and make them look small. Very big and small. Then I'll resize those and it'll remember those. Okay, so far so good? Okay. Some people don't know about those features. I'm holding down my control key while scrolling, by the way. I've shown this many times on my videos, but if you're a new subscriber, I thought I'd make mention of it. Don't tap your control key, hold it down while scrolling. I'm using a computer mouse with a scroll wheel. All right, so I can't browse directly because this is a lightweight distribution or a Xfce file manager called Thunar. But we can hit the address bar, and the quickest way I normally do it is Control L as in Larry, and then I type in SMB, :2/, not 3, 2. All right, filming in 1080, if I didn't say so earlier, I don't recommend that you watch these kind of videos on a 4-inch Android or an iPhone screen. They're usually too small. Find a bigger screen. SMB: :2/. MX99 is the name of my computer that's sitting on my network. This one right here. It's an Xfce desktop also, running Samba shares and SSH. They're great machines for doing stuff like that. You got a spare computer? Set up one. That computer of mine literally fits in the palm of my hand. This guy here. It's not a tower computer. It's actually a tiny computer that fits in the palm of my hand. It's slightly bigger, but I also replaced the hard drive. It had a regular solid state drive, and it also had an NVMe connector, so I replaced the drive with an NVMe, so it makes it a lot faster. And this machine doesn't currently have a keyboard, mouse, or even a monitor, but it runs 24/7. So it has two SharePoints, named very simple names, and I'm going to open these up, and you can see where I'm logged in as anonymous. Now I'm going to do a bookmark. Well, instead of doing this all over again, I'm going to click in here and change that number to a 2, because that's the other SharePoint, and also log in as anonymous, and then do another bookmark. So those are the two SharePoints. Now that I can log out of the system, reboot, and come back later and find these easily, And all I need to do is, when I click them, is to click anonymous. They'll remain there until I do that. And this will be generally the same as if you reboot, because I have it set up as anonymous. On Share 1, I have a funny name of a folder here. I call it Remote USB. And what I mean by that is I don't have to carry a USB stick in my pocket. So when I log into this machine on my network, on any of the computers, I can put files in here. So if you want to call it a junk folder, I called it Remote USB. It's just a name I gave it. Bob has a backup sitting in here. It's a tar backup. I'm going to copy that file to that SharePoint, because what I'm going to do with it is I'm going to let this thing transfer. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it off of this machine and put it on my master backup, which contains a big old huge multiple hard drives that I use for storage. You want to call it a network attached, you can call it that. But it's a Linux machine running essentially the same type of things. So what I'm doing is, right now, I am backing up Manjaro. I already have an essential backup. Then I transferred the file here temporarily and then pull it from here. I could have went from here to here also. But sometimes I turn these computers off. But it still sits there nonetheless until I get ready to, when this is finished, transfer that file over. So that is a backup from this system. Bob's files are in here under that. Okay, and it's got today's date on it. So how do you do SFTP to log into that machine in a graphical environment? We can all do stuff through the terminal box rather easily. I'll just log into here for a second for you. It's just done this way. Generally, you put in SSH and the username. That's what I have on that system. And it's MX99, but I do have to put .local on the tail end or the IP address. And if this was the first time I did this, it'll ask me to accept the security certificate. I've already done that. But the second layer is also a password. And now I'm logged into that system. So I'm going to do an ls on it. And there's my iPhone folder, which I'll show you in a second. Actually, the 2 is my wife, and the 1 is that's highlighted is mine. I also have other backups. That's Endeavor OS, and I think there's another laptop in here somewhere. I thought I saw one of those in here. Oh yeah, there it is. All right, but there's the 2 SharePoints that you're seeing on your screen. And this has been running probably close to 4 days. I just replaced the drive on it. I think it had a 1 terabyte before. So I just put a 2 terabyte on here. Okay. Oh, let me just do this in raw format so you can see it. It's 1.9. Sorry, back up here. This is the actual bits and bytes. So that's why we call that a 2 terabyte. All right, so in either case, you can see the file structure there. So I'm just going to type in exit. Oh, before I do that though, the magic of doing this kind of stuff online is if I needed to update that machine because it doesn't have a keyboard, mouse, or a monitor, line 115 is a complete update and upgrade. That's why I use the double ands. And I'll just do that right now. So it's explanation point 115. Works on most Linux systems, providing, of course, you typed in the command properly. So I need to put in a full password of the system so it can do its business. And you can see that it's actually connecting to the MX repo, because this is a MX Linux Xfce desktop. And I just updated that online. So yes, you can do this kind of magic with your Xfce desktops, in this case Manjaro, rather easily. Now let's log into using Thunar. So Control L highlights the address bar. I can type in SFTP or SSH. I like SSH because I can tap S twice and an H, colon, 2 forward slashes, username, @ and I can use the computer name instead of the IP address on my local network. MX99 in this case, .local. I've already accepted the security certificate, otherwise it will post it to the screen, and then you'll need to put in your password. Other than that, I've already done all that, because I erased these, if you recall, earlier. I'm going to bookmark that and eject that. So tomorrow, when I freshly reboot the machine, if I wanted to get into SFTP, I click that and put in my password. Or if it's Samba shares, SMB 1 and 2, I would just basically click and log in as anonymous. And I still have this backup from this machine sitting here. So what I do is I normally would log in on this machine here, pull it, because this machine is currently off. Could be off, but it's sitting there on that share that I could pull in and save to the master backup. I'm the type of person that backs up and backs up. There's something to be said about having multiple backups. Let me actually show you what I do on that server. So I'll go through SFTP this time, because I have access to all the folders. This is the general backup folder for that system. I have a script file that generates these and a cron job that runs that thing at about 1 o'clock in the morning when I'm not using it. And it will back up this big old tar.gz file, which is currently sitting at about 30 gigabytes. Now, why do I have so many? Because I told the script file to keep 2 or 3. And then when it gets old enough, it deletes the last one. Now, what's the benefit of something like that? Well, let's say that I was backing up my iPhone and there was a photo from 2 days ago that I inadvertently deleted. Well, if I had a single backup, I wouldn't be able to retrieve that photo, but I will, because that's from 3.9, 3.10, and 3.11, and 3.8 in this case. So I can go back several days and open these up. Now, for me to download this file here currently will take a while. So I'm not going to open it for you, but there's everything that's in here that you see on this screen is being backed up in there. That's why that's so huge. Okay, so as you add more, I add more files, it makes the backup bigger. If my wife continues taking these pictures without deleting them, this folder keeps growing and the backups keep growing. And what do I do with this thing? Now, you might be interested to know that you can do this on your local network by logging into that machine via SSH and pulling it the other way, even though it's not in a Samba folder. So I have redundancy everywhere. I back up the photos to the cloud, I back up the photos to my local server, and from my local server I back it onto another system which has large storage. So I have these at all times, in case there's a catastrophic thing going on. And more importantly, do you also believe that your internet service provider that provides cloud storage never goes down? You know what? They also do redundant backups for the same reason I do. Their clients are paying them for cloud services. So they need to have redundant backups also. And sometimes they're not done on the same location. But you can't afford that in your house. But you can afford maybe different machines. Xfce computers are easy to set up. They're low in maintenance and, more importantly, run lean and mean on your networks. Going back to here, a lot of people say, well, they're kind of ugly looking. Xfce desktops don't offer the many bells and whistles as a Cinnamon or a KDE Plasma desktop, but trust me, you can decorate those. Okay, I'm just going to use Manjaro Xfce. Take a good look at this video right here. I'm going to open it for you. And I'm going to have to listen to the commercial for a couple seconds. And then I'm going to bypass this. Okay.
Hey guys, and welcome.
Now I'm going to click a little bit further. Can you see these icons here? Okay. I just converted all these icon sets. You can see the Manjaro logo right down here. So if you want to do stuff like that, you can, is what I'm saying. And that's all I'm going to leave you with and say thank you for watching.